Hi everyone, this is Daniel from Caracas, Venezuela. Today I'm going to talk about Maduro's speech in the National Assembly in Venezuela earlier this week. Two important things happened in Latin America in the past couple of weeks. One of them was the CELAC meeting, which is an organism of Latin American and Caribbean states. We will talk about that later in another video. But today I'm going to talk about Maduro's annual speech in the National Assembly of Venezuela. Usually, the president has to make a speech about the last year government management. So, as you know, probably Venezuela right now is going through a economical crisis, and this speech was very important because a lot of people were expecting important announcements related to economy and other social measures. So this speech was given in the January 21st of January of 2015. I'm making this video on the January 30 of January of 2015, and I'm going to mention some key points about this meeting. I'm going to read them because my English is still not great, so I'm going to point the most important things that happened during that speech. Okay, so first of all, he said that the United States has the intention to bow down Russia, taking the world into a kind of new Cold War, and also said that United States has plans against Iran because its nuclear program development. After that, he claimed that they are attacking Venezuela through an economic war. This was like the beginning of the speech. So as you can see, he's like making United States of America responsible for the crisis of Venezuela and the crisis of the world. It's always blaming a foreigner or a national enemy, political enemy. They never accept when they do the things wrong. So, after that, he recognized that Venezuela is going through an economic crisis and that serious problems. He said that all Venezuelans has to take responsibility about these economic problems, which is in my opinion and how can I say, a lack of responsibility, because this economic crisis is generated by the government bad policies and bad economy management. So he and his cabinet should take responsibility, not all the Venezuelans. Okay. So he said that he's going to have meetings with wholesalers and distributors because he said he believes or he states that part of this economic war are in part because of these wholesalers and distributors. So he's going to have meeting with them, and he's saying that he's willing to work with those that wants to work for Venezuelan economy and not against that. Okay, so let me see. I have many keys points, but I'm going to mention only the most important ones, so this video doesn't take very long. Sorry. Okay. He said that he said that he assured that the national budget for 2015 is going to be accomplished. As you know, Venezuela is an oil producer country and exporter, and basically our economy is based in oil production and export. We don't have almost any more products to export, so we are heavily dependent on oil. And the problem is that the national budget for 2015 is calculated with a barrel oil price of $60. Okay, but as you can see, the oil prices are far less than that. But still, he assured that the budget will be accomplished. I don't know how. I don't know how he plans to do that, but he promised that he will do that. So the government apparently is looking to create investing formulas by creating these economic special areas in Venezuela. There are going to be three economic special areas which supposedly are going to receive international investors, and is going to create like an international exchange flowing for Venezuela. So we don't depend only on oil production, but we also can have international how can I say investment. Okay, let's see if this is going to happen, because with all the expropriations and the lack of jurisdictional security I doubt that many international companies are interested in investing in Venezuela, even though the president says whatever he says. Okay. Well, this is like an intern politics matter. It doesn't has to do with international politics, but he says that he has proved that some political parties in Venezuela are are part of this economic war, and he supposedly has proof of that. He showed during that speech. He showed some videos about some conversations, and he mentioned a guy called Jesus Gomez Bustamante, and he showed like a telephone conversation between this guy and another guy, actually two conversations, and this guy claimed to be an expert of psychological war, and says that the Venezuelan political party Voluntad Popular, which is the party of the political personality Lopez. The name is I forgot the name, but he's in jail right now, and the opposition says that he's a political prisoner. Leopoldo Lopez. Okay, so he also said that he has friendly talks with some other opposition personalities. I think this is a strategy to create the illusion that he is willing to have a good relationship with some opposition, but he has to create like a group of he wants to isolate a group of opposition leaders that are the most popular ones, and wants to make them appear like criminals, so he can take he can arrest them or take whatever action against them because of that. He also launched an economic recuperation plan, and says that he has some of his personnel starting a world tour to many countries, especially oil producer countries, to stop the decreasing oil prices. So he has previously an international tour where he visited China, he visited Russia 2 times, he visited Iran, and he visited some oil producer countries within the OPEC organization, like Saudi Arabia and Qatar. but I'm not sure if this tour with these oil producer countries will going to have an impact on the oil prices, since since Saudi Arabia had said many times that they had no intention in reducing the oil production. So they are the main oil exporters. So basically, they decide the oil prices, and the oil policies are basically decided by Saudi Arabia, and they said that they had no intention in reducing the oil production, so the oil prices will rise. Let's see what happens with that. Also, he in China, I think I mentioned that in a previous video. He asked for a loan, a really big loan, $20,000 loan to China, which are going to be paid with Venezuelan petroleum. We already send every day a certain amount of oil to China to pay previous debt. So this is a new debt that Venezuela is acquiring. This doesn't seem like a good measure to economy recovery. So he also say important announcements in social fields, like because Venezuela is going through an a really bad economic situation. He tried to make up these disasters economic policies by launching some social programs, like increasing support to families, poor families, increasing salaries, which is not going to do anything but increase inflation, and basically that for one hand, Venezuela is going to lose a lot of money because the reduce of oil prices, but by the other hand, he is launching a lot of national currency to the economic daily life. So I think this is a very bad situation, because this is only going to help inflation to increase, and as many of you know, inflation affects especially poor people, because rich people can afford the prices, the increased prices, but poor people are going to be the less beneficial. I mean, the most victims, if I can say that word, of this excess of liquid in currency liquid in Venezuela. So the most important thing or the most important announcement that Venezuelans were hoping to hear was about the exchange system. As many of you know, Venezuela has a very strict currency exchange system since like more like a decade ago. I think like from 2001, something like that. Right now, this exchange system is very complicated because it has like different different rates depending of the economic sectors. So I will explain this exchange system in another video because it's a very complex issue to talk about right now. But what I can say right now is that he didn't change a lot the previous system, so it was like a disappointment among Venezuelans because we were hoping to have more flexibility in order to get international currency, but he didn't change a lot of this. I think we're finishing. This is important, and I'm going to finish this long video with that. He announces that the gasoline prices are going to increase in Venezuela sooner than later. He didn't give any details about how much is going to increase, but as you know, or as most of you know, the Venezuelan gasoline is subsidized by the government, which makes Venezuela the country with the cheapest gasoline in the world. You can fill a tank with a few cents of dollars. So this is not good at all, I think, because it only creates pollution and traffic because everyone uses cars a lot. I also mentioned this problem in a previous video. So the thing is that every time historically when a government tried to increase gasoline prices, there has always been an social explosion. I don't know. It's a really rare thing in Venezuela because the prices of the products increases every day, like liquor, food, basic goods, electronic, everything, and nothing happens. But when they touch the gasoline, usually the government that tries to do that, their popularity goes down a lot. And right now Maduro's popularity is really low. So I don't know how this is going to end, but it doesn't look like it's going to end happily. So I think this was the most important things about that speech. It's supposed to be about the last years um, government management. I mean, he was supposed to talk about what his government did during the 2014 year, during the year 2014, but he didn't talk a lot about that, or maybe he didn't talk anything about that. He talked only about politics and these announcements that has a very less importance. So I think he's gaining time, because he says that his economic cabinet is going to give more detail soon. So he didn't mention any big announcement as every Venezuelan was hoping to him to do. So I think this is all for now. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the CELAC meeting, annual meeting. This was the third one. As you know, the CELAC is an organization. I said it already, but I'm going to repeat it. An organization that includes all Latin American and Caribbean states, and excluded United States and Canada, and all European let's say possessions in America, in the American continent. And this is like an opposition to the organization of the American states that has his headquarters in United States. So there is like they are trying to balance. There is like a balance between these two organizations, and I think the CELAC is having every day more importance than the previous one, the Organization of the American States. Also, the CELAC has a summit meeting with China. So, as we can see, the influence that United States of America has once in Latin America is decreasing, while the presence of China and other countries are increasing in the region. I'm going to talk more about this later. I hope this video was useful for you, and thank you for watching my videos. See you in the next one.